Hello, are you looking for the magic pill to help you become an overnight success in the real estate industry? Well, that may or may not exist, but what does exist are some proven facts, in my opinion, on whether or not becoming an overnight success is actually possible. I want to talk about what it actually takes to become super successful in real estate and how some agents really leverage this to make it happen for their business. So particularly with social media, it can be really difficult to see other agents out there who are just like shouting about all their wins. They're up there on the leaderboards at their brokerages, they're closing the deals, all this stuff. And it feels as if, to some agents, success is inevitable and super fast. The truth is, most people have completely lost touch with what it actually takes to become successful in this industry. All right, and if you don't believe me, we can just revisit the numbers, right? The most famous stat in the industry is that like 87% of real estate agents will fail within their first few years. So what is actually happening here, and what can we do to ensure that we are in that other 10% who go on to do 90% of the business? So let's talk about the 4 things that I do know to be true in terms of becoming an overnight success in real estate. I want you to know that number 1, quick success is the exception, not the rule. And again, this is so hard on social media because particularly if you're like spending any time online, you hear about so many agents going out there and crushing it. But that is a really small portion of the industry, right? They're just really loud. So you might be wondering like, why is she so much further ahead of me and she's only been in the business half the amount of time that I have? Or how is he crushing it and he's 20 years younger than I am, right? Like there's all these different things that we want to be considering, different factors. And at the end of the day, when it comes to those overnight successes, like the quick winners here in the industry, it's the exception, it's not the rule. There are plenty, 10 times the amount of other agents out there who are grinding it every single day to make their dreams happen. So remember this, and remember that a lot of times if we are kind of generalizing what seems to be reality for other agents, there might be a little bit more to the story than that. That leads us to number 2. There is usually more to the story or the journey that a real estate agent takes to become super successful. A lot of times when real estate agents find very fast success in the industry, I hate to say it, like there are some agents who just grind and work really hard, okay? And those ones like deserve all the success that they get because they're out there making it happen. But plenty of other agents have some help. Okay, so maybe they get in alignment with a great investor client who has unlimited funds to just buy all the properties and flip them and sell them, and they just have this like golden goose egg of a relationship there. Sometimes people might be pivoting into the business and they have been a professional in their market for 20 years. They have tons of sales experience. They have a vast network that they can tap into. So pivoting into the real estate industry is a pretty easy transition for them because all they have to do is tap into that brand that they've already established to bring on new clients into a new industry. There are 1,000 other situations like this that I have personally seen firsthand. And yes, it feels unfair every single time as somebody who's had to grind it out from the very beginning. But it all just goes to show that we can't just judge our progress and our journey based on the journey of others. And I'll also say too, sometimes agents, it seems like they just kind of come out of nowhere and they're super successful, but they work so hard. Like they are making all the calls, they are super consistent, they are doing the things day in and day out that contributes fully to their success. So at the end of the day, regardless of what opportunities might be available to you, nothing can really beat out the really hard work and doing the mundane each day. The third fact that I wanted to share with you is that explosive growth is not always a good thing. So there have been plenty of times throughout my journey as a business owner where I was just like, oh my gosh, if I could just hit this goal, have this number of clients and this number of closings, like we'll be happy. If we could just earn this amount of money, everything will be fixed and we'll be super like on top of our entire world. But a lot of times, and I would say probably more often than not, a giant influx of new leads or new clients or new deals can actually ruin a real estate agent's brand and business. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the systems to maintain that amount of business and be able to convert effectively, follow up effectively, offer a really awesome client experience that cultivates referrals and establishes your reputation as like a solid real estate agent, If you're lacking in those systems and you suddenly get super busy, like, that's a recipe for trouble right there. I've seen plenty of agents burn out and exit the business just because they kept dropping the ball on the same things over and over, and they developed a reputation for just not being on it. And I will say it's taken us so much longer to get to the levels of success that we wanted to hit. But without that time and that journey, we wouldn't have been able to put those systems in place to support our growth. And speaking of systems, this is something that we're actively working with agents in the Market Authority Academy every single day. So if this sounds like you, if you're like, you know what, I would love to be super busy, I would love to close $15 million in sales volume and have 50 clients a year, but I don't think I could actually maintain it. That is a systems problem, and that is going to plague your business until you correct it. So book a time with me below. All the links and the details are below in the show notes to book a time and chat with me about whether or not we might be able to work together in the Market Authority Academy and put that infrastructure and put those systems in place that will help your business scale to the level to where you want to be. As I always like to think of it, having lasting success is way better than having fast success. Right? So definitely take the time, invest the money that it takes to grow your business in a scalable, sustainable way so that you can meet and exceed those goals year after year. And finally, the last fact I have in terms of whether or not becoming an overnight success is actually possible is that the success comes from the day-to-day, consistent, mundane, boring activities. All right, so many times I'm working with agents who just want the results without doing the work. And it is way harder, especially in real estate, but in business in general, it is way harder to achieve different levels of success than you might guess, because at the end of the day, it's a series of actions and tasks and calls and contacts and emails and marketing pieces and all this different work that all comes together to cumulatively contribute to your success as a real estate agent. And it's all that like mundane minutia that you have to do day in and day out, to where one day you wake up and you realize you have a pipeline full of clients all ready to close, and suddenly your business is booming. It's interesting too, because in real estate we're on a 90-day sales cycle, so anything that we're doing today you will see results from 90 days from now on average. And so it's really difficult to stay and commit to those day-to-day metrics that we know we need to hit to result in that business down the line, especially when the results are not immediately visible. But that is the secret. The agents who become an overnight success, who like come in out of nowhere and they're just, you know, closing all the deals, they have committed to that process and have done the work day in and day out, and now they are reaping the rewards. Surprised? Shocked? Disappointed? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know how you think about these different thoughts that I have around becoming an overnight success in the real estate industry. I do think it is possible. Obviously, we see it from time to time. It is the exception, as I said, not the rule. But I think that if we really harness these different ideas, these facts, around what that actually looks like, we can actually leverage that knowledge into our own business to help us get on the path to becoming an overnight success as well. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and hit like and subscribe and hit that bell notification icon to be notified every time I'm dropping new videos just like this. Not only does that allow us to stay connected, but it also helps me to continue serving you at the highest level and reaching others in the industry who need this help as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, keep on crushing it.